Today we have some massive news happening in pro wrestling, AEW and WWE. As always, timestamps in the description down below. We're going to kick things off with Bobby Fish, gone from AEW to an absolute shock for nobody. Because if you follow him on Twitter, if you've heard him make his rounds on some recent podcast, it didn't sound like he was happy in the company, and now it's been confirmed. Basically, Fightful had reported last night that his contract wasn't being renewed, but it wasn't known if there was an official decision. When was it going to expire? Nonetheless, Dave Meltzer actually confirmed today that it is officially over. The relationship between Bobby Fish and AEW is done, and I am not shocked whatsoever. Now, I don't know exactly what his future plans are. Obviously, Triple H taking over WWE Creative. Roderick Strong hasn't been released yet. We have heard for a while that there's talent upset in AEW about not being used, not wrestling matches, pretty much doing absolutely nothing in the company. And look, Triple H will find a way to use talent, especially if it's somebody from the Black and Gold brand. Maybe Roddy and Bobby Fish team up. I don't know. Maybe Diamond Mine completely takes over this weekend on the pay-per-view. Look, there's a lot of things that can happen. It is going to be very intriguing to me to see what happens at Worlds Collide, because Roddy Strong and Diamond Mine have a storyline. As far as what's going to happen in AEW, the Undisputed Era, Undisputed Elite, I mean, without Bobby Fish, it just seems very, very weird. And, you know, I feel like it's a problem for AEW to have so many talented people on your roster, but they're not being used. And I understand there's a lot of wrestling fans. I see it in the comments. That doesn't seem to bother you. But I can't sit here and watch a 2-hour show and get lost in the sauce because my favorite wrestlers or my favorite storylines are not continuously taking place. So I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Whatever happened between Bobby Fish and AEW, obviously that's probably behind closed doors, behind closed curtains. But there has been a lot of talk about people in AEW being unhappy. And, you know, we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. At this point, will there be more talent leaving? Who knows? Is the backstage issues in AEW that big of an issue? Or is it being exaggerated by dirt sheets? Like, there's a lot of things that we don't know. But one thing we do know, Bobby Fish is gone from AEW. I want to turn our attention to WWE, and of course, we got to talk about it. We have followed the story of Solo Sikoa being moved up to the main roster. A lot of people have been curious as to what is happening with Solo Sikoa, and now it is believed that it could very well happen this month in September. According to PW Insider, it is in fact happening today, and he is slated to join the Smackdown brand. Solo Sikoa is obviously the real-life brother. He is the younger brother of Jimmy and Jey Uso. And there is this belief that he could potentially be joining the Bloodline, which is very interesting to me because I actually like the idea of a storyline existing where Solo Sikoa is a rival of the Bloodline. I feel like he should be the brother that kind of understands that this Bloodline thing just isn't going to work. And I think that could be a really cool layer to the storytelling. Now, Solo Sikoa, obviously, very early on in NXT 2.0, it was very clear that this guy has a bright future ahead of him. I absolutely love his work. I think he's an incredible talent. And that's why with NXT 2.0 and WWE, like focusing on a seamless transition, I don't actually have concerns for Solo Sikoa on the main roster. Obviously, that can change, but it is something I've noticed, like with WWE, even Toxic Attraction going up. We have seen them kind of keep their same energy, their same presentation. It didn't seem like much was changing, and I think that is absolutely important for WWE to make sure it gets right. So Solo Sikoa going to the main roster, something I'm absolutely intrigued by. One thing I'm very curious, though, is Solo Sikoa was written off NXT from an injury. I obviously, I don't know how that plays into things here, but was that a legitimate injury or not? I always believed the impression was that it was a fake injury just so they can work everybody and then he can go to the main roster. But it's going to be really interesting to see what happens there. And yeah, guys, you might have noticed the new hoodie. We're making some major changes and we're going to talk about it in another video. But just as a heads up, check out ango.live. It's going to be the link in the description. It's going to be my new website, and it's already live. And we'll have a huge update video later on, probably at some point today. So just kind of keep that in mind. Guys, we talked about Braun Strowman coming back to the WWE. Now it appears to be official. PW Insider is reporting that their sources have confirmed the former Universal Champion is headed to WWE Raw this upcoming Monday. Fightful Select had previously talked about the idea of his name being mentioned. Now, a week later, it appears that Braun Strowman going to WWE is a sure thing. Now, look, I think Braun is one of the better big men that the WWE have had. I'm not going to shit on this guy at all. I think a lot of people are disconnected to reality when they speak about Braun Strowman. I think how Braun Strowman was booked versus Braun Strowman the performer, I think people got to understand that there's truly a difference between the two. And I think Braun Strowman going back to WWE is going to be helpful considering that Omos isn't fully there just yet. He's not. And, you know, I understand Vince McMahon tried to push him. He tried to do some things. I didn't really hate Omos. I thought Omos was kind of cool. I just feel like WWE didn't know what they were doing with Omos. And it's very difficult to book somebody like that when they're still relatively new. I like the squash matches. I like the stuff like that. I like the 2-on-1s and 3-on-1s. I like that kind of stuff. But it just wasn't working for Omos. And that doesn't mean you got to get rid of Omos. It just means you need a little bit more time with him. Not a big deal. Nonetheless, Braun Strowman coming back to WWE. Now, I don't want to see Braun Strowman in the world title picture. I don't want to see any of that. Truth be told, control your narrative seems to not have worked out at all. And this is one of those things where I don't know what Triple H is going to do with Braun Strowman that's any different from Vince McMahon. However, you never know at this point. You never know. And with rumors that Bray Wyatt's going to be at Cardiff for Clash at the Castle, I mean, I'm not even saying the idea of a family reunion. You know, I'm not saying it's even far-fetched at this point. I don't know what to expect with Braun Strowman, but I guess that's a good thing, right? If I could kind of understand that the company might do something different with him, it intrigues me. Who knows? Let's see what this guy can do. Let's see what this guy can do. Let's see what Triple H can do with Braun Strowman, because that is intriguing to me, but I'm not trying to get my hopes up. And please keep him away from the world title picture. I'm not interested in that right now. Please, there's so many other people who haven't held the belt that I want to see hold the belt. So let's kind of see what happens. But Braun Strowman's returning. Bobby Fish is gone from AEW. Solo Sikoa going to the main roster. Wrestling is sick. Leave a comment down below.